All right, welcome everybody. This is Big Rascals Writing Challenge. So this time around, we're gonna do a writing challenge based off the book we just read, Red Wall. The challenge, I guess, or the prompt is we are writing a mythical tale from the point of view of like a woodland creature. Mm-hmm. So,
like the woodland creatures are gathered around and telling campfire stories, old folk tales, legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought it was that.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean you thought? You're the one who made the gory dang prompt.
Well, it was actually Greg, but I just restated it. I actually just copied and pasted what you said.
I knew it sounded familiar. I was like, I thought we already treaded this in our text crew. I was like, what? I thought we already decided this.
Yeah.
So, cool. You get to go first.
Cool. All right. Yep.
Oh, man, I got the tablet. Whoa.
Yep. So I can see because, oh my gosh, when I was like typing this up, I was like,
were you like Shane in Community when he pulls out the little list? Or not the list, the cheat sheet.
Yeah.
It's a little cheat sheet.
It's fantastic. All righty.
Yeah, read with that mental image.
Okay. Little preface. This is a story for some deer folk.
Ah,
okay.
Dear.
I'm sure Basil would like that. It's very noble. Stag dog. What?
Yes. This was fun. All right. It is called Tale of the Still Ones. Gather round, those of the antler, and hear a tale. This is a tale of warning, so listen well. Do you remember Elm Nose? No? That is because he was taken by the Still Ones. Elm Nose was like you and me, except for his sense of smell. He could smell a bush of ripe berries farther away than anyone else. He could smell a pack of fanged ones before they started their hunt. You figured it would be safe to stay with Elm Nose. You would always have food, and danger could be avoided before it was present. But Elm Nose had one flaw. That same nose of his gave him an insatiable curiosity. He would always say, "That's a new smell," and start to wander off through the trees. At first, we would follow him. The temptation of ripe blackberries was too much. Dewtail and sumac horn was especially close to Elm Nose. You have not heard of them? Well, that makes sense. They were taken too. The particular day they both followed Elm Nose to a new smell. I waited where we had already found some clover. The sun was high in the sky when they left. When they returned, it was reaching the hilltops. I could hear them approaching from around an aspen grove. Dewtail spoke upon reaching me. "Oh, Briarhorn, you missed a wonderful feast. There was food looking like broken twigs piled around a tree. It tasted of blackberries and grass." "That sounds like a feast. I missed out," I said. "But where is sumac horn?" Both Dewtail and Elm Nose swung around calling for sumac horn. There was no answer. Dewtail explained how she last saw him behind her as they made their way back to the herd. Perhaps he stepped away for a drink. The food was very rich. Sumac horn never appeared over the next couple days, and the herd was ready to move. The weather was cooling, and as was tradition, we followed the stream through the valley to where the trees thinned and the grasses rose high by the great meadow. It is normal to lose a member of the herd during our journey, but it was always known who and how they were killed. It usually came upon ignoring warnings from Elm Nose or lingering too long by a stream. To lose someone who was so close to Elm Nose was a surprise. The only explanation was sumac horn had left the herd. Days passed, and as we continued our journey, it had been 2 sunrises after a time of rain. Elm Nose again said, "There's that new smell." I was not going to miss out on this feast. I had just dropped my antlers and was feeling extra hungry, so I followed Elm Nose, and I regret I did. As we got close, I could even smell it myself. It was wonderful. My hooves floated over the ground. I could feel the smell carrying me towards its source. It was a circular clearing in the trees where a large pine tree had fallen. The food was at the base of the surrounding trees, and as Dewtail had said, the taste was exquisite. We all ate till our bellies were about to burst, and the sun was touching the hilltops. Elmnose called out, "Over here! I see sumac horn!" Past some thick briars, Elmnose stood at the edge of another clearing, and across it, right at the edge of the trees, stood sumac horn. It looked like sumac horn. It was his antlers and his smell, but he was not moving. Even when we called to him, he would not look towards us. Dewtail, shrunk and frightened, said, "Do you think he senses danger? Is that why he does not move?" Elmnose said, "I do not smell anything, just the food that remains back there." I spoke then, "Perhaps he will respond in the morning. You remember Grassback ate those mushrooms. We could not understand him for days." Elmnose suggested we stay the night and eat at sunrise, join the herd the next day. We all agreed and slept in the briars. That night I could hear Dewtail get up and move out of the briars. I thought perhaps she was off to get a drink. The food had been very rich. That morning Dewtail was gone. Elmnose and I went to eat the strange food and wait for Dewtail. We had finished eating, and Dewtail still had not shown. "I still smell her nearby, but she does not smell right," said Elmnose. "Her smell is coming from the same direction as sumac horn." I wish we had never gone to look. There, just hooves away from the still form of sumac horn, was Dewtail, her head, her neck, her insides, but the rest was gone. Us of the antler understand the loss and death. The savage creatures of the woods are always hunting us, but never before had we seen such butchering. There stood sumac horn, still as can be. We ran back to the herd, the others asking of our distress. We could not share anything. Then we were still unbelieving of what we saw. More days passed, some rains came, and we began to near the great meadow at the edge of the valley, when Elmnose had approached me. "Briarhorn, I smell Dewtail," he said. I stared for a moment and then said, "Elmnose, we left Dewtail's remains up the valley. She could not be down here." "That's the thing. I smell her. But she smells," Elmnose paused. "She smells whole." "Maybe we should ignore it," I said. But that was fruitless with Elmnose, for he had to know what the smell was. And I followed. We walked for some time towards the slope of the valley where the sun was traveling to, when Elmnose stopped. "She's in that clearing just past the briars," he said. We slowed and crept hoof by hoof around the briar bush, and there she was, elegant and whole, head high. She looked beautiful standing there as the falling sun's light fell through the trees across her back. She did not move. We both called to her, and nothing. Elmnose crept past the briars into the clearing, his head turning back and forth, his nostrils flaring, taking in all the scents around him. He continued towards Dewtail. I stayed, terrified, my hooves shaking. Elmnose was a hooves step away from Dewtail when, thang, twack, something impacted him on the side near his neck. He stumbled, fell next to the still form of Dewtail. I could see then a straight black stick protruding from Elmnose. What happened then terrified me more than anything I have ever seen. Part of the bush at the edge of the clearing stood up and walked towards Elmnose. I ran and ran, fear filling every muscle in my body to move me away from that scene of death. Listen, you of the antler, and listen well. I tell you this tale so you may know. Do not trust the mysterious food found around the trees. If a friend has disappeared, do not go looking for them. And especially, what is most important, do not approach the still ones, ever. Your life could depend on it.
Wow. Jeez, Jeff. Are you saying something here about hunters?
Trying to get a message across.
You're making me feel bad.
I guess it could be the vibes, but
like Bambi. Feeling sad.
Yeah.
Bambi's mom died.
I like the name The Still Ones.
The still ones.
Sounds eerie, but that's exactly what hunters do.
Yeah.
They sit and wait.
Yeah, I really...
Spooky.
I thought you made it really seem like the point of view of a deer, for sure.
Good.
I think that was really great.
Awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, nicely done. I like how you made
Thanks.
it a scary story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought that would be fun.
Cool, man. Good job.
Thanks.
Liked it.
Thanks, guys.
Well, do you want
You're
to
up.
me? All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I don't know. Does a crow count as a woodland creature? 'Cause
Certainly.
The crows do make an appearance in Salamandastron.
I was thinking about doing a crow story, then I'm like, Derek's going to do one.
You know me too well, Jeff. All right. In the middle of the dense woods next to Lake Lemuria, where the sky shines colors in the night on a whim, is a large oak encircled by 5 pines. This is Crowstrom, the fortress of the Crow clan, and house to their force, the mobbing murder. The greatest of these crows is Valravin, son of Silverbolt, master of the murder. Almost the size of a raven and black feathers that shined with an enviable sheen, he was a sight to behold. Under his leadership, the murder was able to drive out any owls that dared to roost in their kingdom. He was one of the few crows who dared to fly and perch atop the backs of eagles mid-soar and pester them until they left his domain. His hoard of shiny objects was the greatest among all nests in oak and truly the desire of all curious corvids. Every great thing done in Crowstrom had been done by Valravin. Had to be done by Valravin. There was no recent song that didn't feature his exploits. His mate, Beeth, was the cleverest of crows. Though lacking in her husband's strength, she made up for in ingenuity and deceit. She was able to mimic almost any other bird or even the mewling howl of a wolf pup. With this skill alone, she was able to ward off many a predator at the base of their tree. When one hears a wolf pup, there is usually a pack nearby. And through her use in tool making, the murderer was able to enjoy fish from the lake whenever they pleased. With Valravin and Beeth at the heart of the Crowstrom fortress, the large oak stood as a mighty edifice, with the 5 pine trees acting as guard towers, with the growing murder making nests in each. Anyone who dared to climb these trees would be met with the greatest of opposition. It was this notion of challenge that entertained and brought Telvido the Terrible, the most diabolical and savage wild cat in all of the forest. A cat so sneaky and crafty, he was known to snatch low-flying falcons from the sky. Once his claws hooked into his prey, there was never any escape. With these claws, he began to silently ascend to the nests of Crowstrom. Like a panic bell, a smothered-out caw of a crow's life being snuffed out triggered the rest on the alert. Telvido had made a kill and was already down the tree with a young crow in his jaws. Hateful caws echoed from every direction. Wings began to unfurl in every branch. "Leave to me! Leave to me! I avenge cohort!" Beeth, to me! Commanded Valravin. Many officer crows grumbled at the lack of action they knew they would get. Down to the forest, the 2 magnificent crows soared with hate and bloodlust screeching from their beaks. Telvido dropped his prize and pounced in their direction. Like choreographed sequences, Valravin and Beeth dodged and weaved. They began one of their favorite techniques. While one distracted the cat with false attacks and hurtful insults, the other would swoop in like clockwork to relentlessly peck his backside. While all this was happening, the audience of the murder cawed jubilantly. Such revelry had never been seen before. It was quite disorienting for Telvido, and yet he was a fast learner. He began to feign his own assaults on one only to turn around as quick as lightning and slash at the other. A crow's dodge reflex is what they owe most of their survivability to, and it was on full display here. Telvido was always short just an inch to hitting his target. Two swoops! Beeth called to her husband. Yes! Valravin agreed. As smoothly as a calligrapher's pen, the 2 climbed high into the air and then stooped down in opposite directions, and then doubled back and careened towards Telvido. In between 2 crow missiles, Telvido had to act fast. He leaped onto the trunk of the great oak and out of the way. With foresight and no sign of worry, the 2 crazed corvids turned together and impaled their beaks into the cat like a shot with 2 syringes. The villainous cat yowled and began to scurry around the tree like a squirrel. Valravin and Beeth began to cheer. Walking tavern! Walking flea tavern! No smart! No smart! They were high on this moment of sweet revenge. They were now swooping, pecking, retreating, and repeating, lazily, as if this was all a chore. Rat breath! Too slow! Taunted Valravin. Pussycat too soft! Jeered Beeth. But a cornered cat is nothing to be comfortable with. With speed that even surprised Telvito, he leaped off of the oak and swatted down Beeth. She careened down and collided with the root of a tree, a loud crack announcing her union with the ground. 1 second. 1 second of absolute silence was all the cat got for his lucky shot. Every crow on every branch and every tree began cawing menacingly, like they had just come out of hell. Muster the mob! Muster the murder! Valravin commanded. The sky began to darken, to blot out the sunlight for Telvito as it filled with the adult crows flying above him. His round yellow eyes gazed in fear at the sight. From the feathered blackness, nearly unseen, came Valravin right at his face. Talons latched onto the cat's cheeks and wings beat his ears. Telvito let out a terrified and agonizing yowl that could even be heard despite the crow's mobbing caws as one of his eyes was pulled out from its socket by Valravin's impressive beak. Valravin stood on the forest grass now with the cat's eye set by his foot, with the cloud of his murder above, and he, the King Crow himself, standing imposing as ever. Shoulders hunched, he breathed out the most terrifying caw ever uttered. Like a dragon breathing fire, he spewed, "Die!" This being the sight Telvito's one eye saw, he ran out of there quicker than the flap of a wing. Telvito the Terrible was now Telvito the Terrified. Victory was won. Valravin would then wear the cat's eye around his neck as a reminder of his victory. He would fly and strut in a way that all would be able to chance a glance at it. But Beeth had not been so lucky. A funeral was held for the young crow who died in Telvito's jaws. Beeth was thankfully alive, but her beak was sorely damaged. The top part of it broke off, leaving it a jagged stump on her face. She could no longer pick up for herself and now only let out deflated caws. Sorrow seemed her song. Valravin had to feed her himself by picking up food in his own beak and inserting it into hers. He never ceased to care for her, but she had lost her confidence and cunning. Despite all of the victory ballads sung of her bravery, all she could think of was her foolishness in the endeavor and what pride she had lost. Losing your beak as a crow was like losing your teeth and fingers at the same time. Valravin desired her to be happy once more, but how? How could he help her regain the sense of identity she once possessed? His counsel once spoke of a white raven who knew of magic things. Magic might have meant unexplainable solutions for his unsolvable problem. The white raven was known to be a ghost that followed the wolf pack. With the sound of howls in the distance, Valravin knew where he had to go. Leaving his best servants to take care of Beeth, he soared with great haste to find the white raven. The wolves had just made a kill and were feasting on the carcass of a moose. The white raven sat perched on a rib bone, tearing off flesh with its beak. Valravin perched next to him. Let me know if I'm going too long, guys. I kind of went a little crazy with this writing prompt.
Dude, go for it.
Valravin perched next to him. Valravin passed for a small raven to the wolves, so they thought nothing of it. Other ravens joined their hunts from time to time. What made this one different? "You know of magics?" Valravin bluntly asked the white raven. The white raven looked perturbed. "Yes, I do," it replied with a beak full of meat. "Tell me where to find magics," Valravin commanded. "Why should I?" the sagely bird retorted. "You have problem, not I. Your problem not concern me." "This is for mate," Valravin stated, a hint of humility in his voice. "So great Valravin does care for more than himself." The ghostly bird looked like an apparition with the gray sky behind him. "Go to mountainside by lake. In there you meet Great Beast. Great Beast is the one who makes colors in the sky. Great Beast has magics." Without a word of thanks, Valravin flew off to the mountainside. The white raven grumbled while reaching down for another bite of moose. "Only cares for himself. Great Beast eat him. Good riddance." The cave was ominous, like a yawning mouth on the side of the mountain. Valravn steeled himself and let his feathers smooth out before seeing this great beast. One must look presentable for such things, don't you know? With feigned confidence, Valravn swaggered in. It seemed dark, like a patch of midnight on black velvet. But the more he ventured inside, there seemed to be a golden glow. The glow became clear when Valravn saw piles of glittering gold, sparkling sapphires, and dazzling diamonds. Big shinies! Big shinies! Valravn crowed as he wondered which piece of treasure he should take first. Surely one of the diamonds would put Beeth in a cheerier mood. Don't even think about touching a single gem, feathered vermin, growled a low voice that seemed to skate across the cave floor and slide up the walls. Valravn flapped up and back. From behind, a mountain of gold looked to be a giant serpent with gold scales like a fish. It swayed from side to side. Valravn watched it closely in case it was aiming to strike. Then imagine his surprise when a face with the same scales, tusk-smooth horns, and sword-like teeth emerged from the pile of diamonds nearest to him. "Yeah, monster!" Valravn cried. "Is this the extent of your bravery, O proud King Crow?" boomed the beast. "Or should I just call you what you are? A fearful pile of feathers who has more pride than should be condoned. Just look at you. Hardly a snack." The beast rose up, revealing legs like tree stumps with toes that ended in spear point claws and leathery folds upon his back. Treasure fell like a waterfall, making a raucous and tingling boom. "You know me?" Valravn asked. "Of course," bellowed the beast. "I know all that live underneath my aurora in the sky." That must have been the skylights that happened on most pleasant nights, when the wolves sang to the moon. "But tell me why I should not eat you and fly down to that puny tree of yours and eat your loyal subjects too. Speak. I don't have all day." "I come for magics," Valravn squeaked out, picturing the tree being ripped out like a weed by this titan of a creature. "Do you not have enough down there in your pathetic treetop, fowl?" "Need magics to fix mate's beak," the Crow King explained. The beast gave a skeptical look. "You tell me you come here on behalf of another?" Valravn bobbed his head up and down. Give me your greatest treasure, and then I will consider it," stated the beast. Like an arrow off a bowstring, Valravn shot out of the cave and to Crowstrom. "Such pretty feathers for a crow," the beast remarked to himself as he saw the impressive crow lord fly off. Valravn returned with a diamond from his hoard. It was the shiniest thing he possessed and was the envy of every crow in Crowstrom. But when he placed it down in front of the beast and saw how minuscule it was amongst the scattered diamonds in the scaly monster's hoard, he began to feel less sure of himself. The beast squinted at it for less than a second. "Ha! Pathetic! I do not accept," he snorted. "But best I have!" Valravn whined. "Those feathers on your wings look lovely," the beast calmly suggested. Valravn hesitated. Did this giant creature want his pinion feathers? He always made sure they looked glossy by sitting on anthills and letting the ants spray their acid on them before he ate them. Not many crows knew that this was the secret to making your feathers dazzle. After indulging himself one last look of them, Valravn began to pluck them out one by one. He laid them out purposefully in front of the scaled behemoth. Valravn shrank a little. Without his prized feathers, he felt like a snail out of its shell. Surprise briefly coated the giant's face. Much better," he said gently, "but I am still not convinced." The emerald orb eyes of the magic monster trailed downward only a little and fixed upon Telvido's eye around Valravn's neck. Valravn noticed. What could he want with that? He already took away Valravn's stunning feathers and ability to fly away home. What could he want with his trophy and his greatest triumph? Was this all just a ploy to entertain the beast and embarrass him more than he already has? He thought of stamping out of there with whatever dignity he had left. Then he remembered Beeth. Her feathers seemed more gray than black after her injury. She no longer sang her clever songs, and for every caw she crowed, came out deflated and dejected. He remembered the sorrow in her eyes when she was being fed piece by piece by his beak. He didn't want to see that again. Valravn slowly took off his necklace and rolled it reverently right next to the claws of the great beast as a priest kneels in front of the altar. The beast stooped his large head down and hooked the necklace on one of his horns. I have decided. What you decide? Valravn asked eagerly, but respectfully. I have decided not to eat you or your kin, the beast nonchalantly said. That's it? Was this beast hard of concentration? Was he not as wise as he seemed and just one giant trickster? Having felt duped, Valravn erupted into a tirade of demands. You use magics! You heal beasts! Now! 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 We had deal! After several minutes of this and many ruffled feathers, Valravn began to hop over to him in a predatory way. Well, as predatory as one could be without feathers on his wings. I take your eye! It be my new trophy! Maybe it hold magics for beasts, declared Valravn. A death sentence you would be putting on yourself, haughty pigeon! The beast roared with snakes of smoke now coming out of his nostrils and faint embers beginning to glow in his jaws. Valravn didn't even break stride and began climbing the tallest treasure pile. Even in the face of death you persist, the beast stated. It appears I have had a flawed view of you, Valravn. Come. Before Valravn could process what the beast told him, the beast grasped him gently in his claws and thundered out of the cave. The leathery folds on the scaly giant's back turned out to be large bat-like wings, and they began to soar through the night sky above Lake Lemuria. The sky began to slither with soft hues of greens, purples, and pinks. The magics, Valravn thought. Wolves began to howl and sing as if they were praising the sky. With gentleness, the great beast landed by the lake shore and put Valravn down. He then presented him with the Eye of Telvido. Have your mate eat this. I have enchanted it to heal whatever aids her. May the last meal you feed her be the one that makes her whole. He then had Valravn hop onto his head, and with incredible stealth, no doubt magic played a part in that, he set Valravn back into his nest. Keep thinking of others before yourself, Crow King, the beast whispered, and then disappeared into the night, and without waking a single crow. The next morning, Beath showed relief and joy to have her mate back despite her disability. She was surprised to see him without feathers on his wings, but he refused to explain anything until she ate his trophy. She wouldn't do it until he began pleading with humility that was thought to be impossible within him. With his beak, Valravn set the eye down her gullet, and she remarked how delicious it tasted. As she cawed her remark, she felt the familiar and oh-so-missed clack of her beak tips. The magics had worked. The sky filled with crows cawing, hooting, and hollering in jubilation. Their queen had been restored. Valravn, with no choice of his own, had to witness the sight from his nest. He was now a humbled crow, a reverent corvid, and a wise bird. Due to not being able to fly himself, he had to delegate. He utilized the murder council more appropriately and began entrusting them with important tasks. With this change in leadership style, Crowstrom began to garner respect from other tribes. Certain brigades were allowed to hunt with the wolves and ravens. Wolverines and bears even allowed crows to aid them in their searches. Moles began saluting them and protecting the base of their trees. Beath remarked to her mate after much of these changes passed, You met the great beast of the sky colors for me? Valravn waited a moment before answering. His feathers seemed to be a tinge of silver as he admitted, Yes, I see I am not big important as I thought. That's on it. Sorry it was so long.
Sweet.
I got a little carried away with this one.
That's awesome, man.
Love it, man.
As always, Derek, your descriptions are fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I love the curious corvids and what was it? The cat's name?
Telvido?
Telvido the Terrified.
Actually, a little fun fact. I'm sure any Tolkien fans reading this will know that was the name of a cat that Sauron was in one of the earlier versions of Baron and Luthien, but Sauron ended up being a werewolf in the later versions. But yeah, Telvido the cat. Telvido
the Terrified. That's a lot of fun. Really cool. And great it definitely has a lot of aesthetic to a kind of an old legend of like a St. George and the Dragon style thing.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have a whole little side thing with the White Raven making him do something. I was like, no, that's going to be too long.
It's great when you just feel like you can fill up so much. Of
the old hermit requesting something in return for knowledge kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I was way too long. I think that was 7 pages, so I'm so sorry.
I had a long one last time, so
Yeah. So the monster was a dragon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bear. No.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty predictable of me, but yeah. I had fun with this one.
Crows and dragons. Derek is in his element.
Oh, yeah. I had fun with this.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Good job. All right, I'll go. I knew you were going to do crows. I didn't think you were going to do ravens. So I did a raven.
Okay.
But mine is very different than your guys', I think. But, all right, let's see. The old raven, Thuru, shifted his black feathers in the branches of the great tree. He looked down upon the woodland clearing, and the campfire reflected off his keen eyes. They were clouded silver with age. The wind rustled through the pines as he clicked his beak once. "Young ones, gather round," he croaked. "Get close and hold each other tight. You have heard of predators and hunters, but there is an older danger still. A creature our ancestors feared long before my feathers turned gray." Thuru paused for dramatic effect, and even through the darkness he could see by the whites of their eyes that he had the little creature's undivided attention. "In the deep, dark places below lives a creature called the Hollow, a serpent creature. But serpent is not quite right. No. It is blacker than cave water, colder than ice, and a body so twisted as if made of shadows themselves." A little squeak came from the smallest chipmunk, and Thuru chortled. Now, there is no need to worry as long as you are virtuous. For they say the Hollow does not hunt the trustworthy. It does not hunt the honest. It hunts those that lie." Thuru lowered his voice. "The Hollow has not eyes nor mouth, only ears hidden beneath folds of darkness. So it listens, but it cannot hear everything. It only hears lies." The wind grew still. "Telling one lie may not be enough for the Hollow to find you, but it will catch your scent. You might be able to get away with 2, maybe 3 lies. But with every lie, the Hollow grows closer and closer. Then, snap! All the little ones jumped and screamed. Roto the fox had snuck up behind the little creatures and snapped a large dry branch. He cackled with glee and saluted Thuru. "Hey!" complained the little ones. Still chuckling, Thuru continued. "Thank you to Roto here for showing us just how easy it would be for the Hollow to sneak up on you. For the Hollow is much more furtive and cunning. It waits under roots, beneath leaves, inside hollow logs, just before it strikes. They say the forest will grow very quiet. No wind blows, no bird sings, no bugs buzz. Then you will hear a scratching sound, as if scales were dragging across dead leaves. By then, it will be too late. The Hollow will strike with precision and quickness." "Now, hold on," interrupted Beanie the rabbit, one of the older of the young critters. "You said the Hollow doesn't have a mouth. How can it strike?" "You are right," continued Thuru. "The Hollow does not bite. It cannot bite. In fact, it won't kill you at all. It does something much worse. When it strikes, it'll wrap around you and constrict you. Once you open your mouth to try to breathe, because you will try, the hollow will enter your body through your mouth. It will take all your lies. It will take your voice. And some say, if you have too many lies, it will take your soul. Okay, Beanie's mother, Panna, said in annoyance, walking up to the gathered little ones. Thuru, we have to take them home after this. Will you please not scare them too much? Let him finish the story, Roto called out in mock protest. I will, said Panna with a smile. I just want my kids to be able to sleep tonight. Thuru's eyes gleamed and he ruffled his feathers. It's important that we all know the truth, but Panna is right. There is no need to frighten the young ones further. Besides, there is not much left to say, so we might as well call it a night. There were collective moans and groans that came from the little ones. Once again, Beanie raised his paw and asked, Did you ever see the hollow? The old raven stared into the dark woods beyond the trees. For a long moment, he said nothing. Slowly, he leaned down and croaked out, That's a story for another time. Thuru shook out his feathers, rearing to take off. Good night, young ones, he said as he flew away. Remember, always be mindful of what you say. Like a shadow in the night, Thuru was gone, leaving the little creatures with an uneasy feeling. After that night, at least for a while, not one of the young creatures told a lie.
I think you encapsulated the prompt best of telling a story to woodland creatures like around a fire. That was very good. Where'd you come up with the name Thuru?
Honestly, I was driving to work and I saw a street sign that said through. I was like, through. I was like, cool.
Such a Greg thing. Yeah.
Right?
That's great.
I came up with all the creatures have a double letter. So you are you, Roto, RTO type thing. I don't know. I just thought that was
Okay.
Beanie, INI, Panna, ANA.
Okay. Huh.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah, definitely one of the lovely German fairy tales to get their kids to act properly.
Right.
That's what it seemed like.
That's what I thought of. Is like, what can I want like a story that parents tell to scare their kids, you know.
Both of you went for a scary story. That's funny.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I love seeing the difference and similarities we got in these things, and I think each have different strengths, and there's a lot of, they all just come out really well. I think it is great abilities here. You both did super good.
Yeah, we definitely have different writing styles and techniques. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to see.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, let us know. We're being very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yes, we know that there are flaws in it, and we would love to hear critique. And like we said at the end of our last episode, what kind of woodland animal would you choose? How would you have told it? We would love to, and in fact, challenge yourself. Do it as a fun writing exercise. Writing is like a muscle. You got to work it out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is helping me in so many ways, for sure. Like, I don't know if I've improved. I feel like I have. At least writing I'm starting to understand it a little more doing this.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. I think it's a muscle exercise, like Derek was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us for this bonus segment. Like we said in our episode, our next writing prompt is going to be like Greek mythical themed. Kind of like a Greek god, demigod type
Hercules story,
larger
Jason
than
and the
life
Argonauts.
hero, having to use all facets of their strength and knowledge and skill.
Yeah. So if you want to come along with this writing challenge and want to do your own, send it to bigrascals.podcast at gmail.com. And if there's more than one, we'll pick one and read it in our next episode. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We would love to see what you got. Thank you for joining us, though.
Oh, yeah. All right. We don't have an outro for this one. So catch y'all later.
Bye.